And that's why when we're talking, and the chairman mentions the threat to the reindustrialization of the American workforce, folks, we're involved in a race to the bottom right now. We had 397,000 factories in this country at the beginning of the last decade. We only have 343,000 now. That's a closure of 54,000 factories, a loss of 5 million jobs. That means every day 15 factories are shutting down. That's what we should be talking about today. Let's take a look at the statement by Mr. Jim Albaugh that was made on March of 2010 to the Seattle Times. Can we play that now?
The overriding factor was not the business climate, and it was not the wages we're paying people today. It was that we can't afford to have a work stoppage, every 3 years. We can't afford to continue the rate of escalation of wages as we have in the past. Those are the overriding factors.
Now, one of the things that we know, Mr. Solomon, is that there is a huge difference in the law between discrimination and retaliation, and I want to make that clear as well. Because if you are discriminating against an employee on the basis of race, religion, sex, gender, some other protected classification, that's a violation of the law. And yet, if you retaliate against that employee because they engage in the process of protecting their rights by filing a complaint, that is a separate and distinct violation, is it not?
Correct.
And so when you are bringing a charge against Boeing for retaliation, that has nothing to do with the underlying action, but whether in fact this video and other evidence you plan to present at that hearing will provide a legitimate basis to prove that Boeing took the action it did because of a desire to retaliate against protected employees. Isn't that correct?
That is correct.
But one of the things you mentioned at the conclusion of your wonderful appellate brief, which has 79 footnotes, I believe that's a new record for an opening statement, Mr. Chairman. It was eloquent and well argued. You happened to mention the Dubuque Packing Company case. And my wife grew up in Dubuque, Iowa, in a working-class home built by her father just down the street from the Wallert family mansion that owned the Dubuque Packing Company. Now, is the Dubuque Packing Company in existence today?
I don't know the answer to that question.
It is not, sir. It is gone with the wind. A company that used to employ 3,500 employees, pay a payroll of $20 million in the 1960s, and Mr. Chairman won the gold medal for the best canned ham at the California State Fair in 1960 and 61, a fact I knew you would appreciate, is gone. And that's what the National Labor Relations Board is all about, is protecting the rights of workers and employers and providing a fair process. Governor, let me start with you. Representative Scott made a comment in his opening statement accusing the NLRB of using your tax dollars in an unprecedented way. And my question for you is, did the state of South Carolina use state taxpayers' dollars in an unprecedented way to lure Boeing's production line here?
No.
So the question I'm asking you, is Boeing the biggest welfare queen of the state of North Carolina, or has someone received more than $900 million in incentives from the state to locate here?
I mean, as we do with all companies when we're trying to get them to come to South Carolina, we compete with all of your states to try and get them to come. And so sometimes we do use economic development incentives to do that, or job incentives to do that.
Right. And my question is this $900 million package the biggest incentive given to anybody to locate here in the state of South Carolina that you know of?
Yes.